Another problem that I run into a lot in student writing is a lack of variety in sentence structure. And what happens when there is this lack of variety is there is a choppiness to the writing, and a kind of plodding cookie cutter rhythm where you have subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. And this really isn't the way that people speak. So it sounds unnatural to the ear, and it isn't really pleasant to read. So let's have a look at an original sample of student writing and see what we can do to improve the overall flow and vary the structure of the sentences. So we begin. Holden wants a life free of social constraints. Holden wants to get away from the big city and live in a more secluded area with few people and fewer rules. Holden hates living in living in society with rules and judgments. So the first thing I notice is that each of the sentences begins with Holden. Holden wants, and Holden hates. So right away, I notice this lack of variety, and I'm beginning to think of ways that we can kind of combine some of these ideas and vary the flow. So the first thing I think I'll do is, rather than starting with the subject, I'm going to start with an adjective phrase. I want to start by describing something about Holden. And what strikes me, is this idea of his hating living in society. So I think I'll take that as my adjective phrase and say, hating society's restrictive rules and judgments. What does he want? Well, he wants a life free of social constraints. So I will take that original idea and hang on to it. Put that there. We've already gotten rid of this idea because we summarized it and put it at the beginning of the sentence. So now we're left with Holden wants to get away from the big city and live in a more secluded area. And I do like how the sentence ends, but I think he doesn't actually get what he wants. So it's sort of a condition. So we could say, if he can get away from the big city, he hopes to live in seclusion. And then we can take that great phrase, with few people and fewer rules, and copy and paste that and end our sentence there. Now let's go back and give it a read through. I noticed already that I have a spelling error to fix, and there may be other omissions or small grammar issues to tidy up. So we see, hating society's restrictive rules and judgments, Holden wants a life free of social constraints. If he can get away from the big city, he hopes to live in seclusion, let's get rid of that extra U, with few people and fewer rules. So I think we've preserved the same meaning from the writer's original paragraph, but we've made it a little more compressed. We've created some variety in the sentence structure. We have two compound sentences, but they're structured a little bit differently. And I think as a result, we get a nice sense of flow. So we're done.